About controlling this position. Right now you guys have the hold, like you know how to hold the position. But when you're playing guard, you don't want to hold positions for too long. You want to try to move them a lot and off balance them a lot, because when you hold a position, the objective for the top person is very clear. They know what's giving them problems, and they're going to resist it and like work super hard to defend it because they have base right now. They're just under my control, right? So they're gonna work really hard with their arm. You're gonna have to work with your leg, and you're gonna be fighting like force against force. You wanna keep him busy with little off balances, okay? And I'm gonna show you two of them right now, and we're gonna use one of them to set up our sweep, okay? The two off balances are in opposite directions. And the reason for that is if I rock him in one direction, he recovers in the other direction. So I need to have an off balance in that direction so that I can kind of bounce them off of each other, okay? So I have my hold, I have my control. As I feel him resisting this, like he's trying to break it down, the first off balance is gonna be dropping my foot to his thigh, spreading his base as wide as I can by extending my legs and sitting up from my back, and then dragging him forward so his hands go to the floor, okay? It might be one hand, it might be both hands, depending on his level, and also like if he's grabbing my collar or not and how hard I do it. But it's gonna look like this. So I drop my foot, I spread, and I drag. And then from here, like say he was giving me a lot of trouble, as he recovers, I can set up my hold again. So I can put my foot back on the shoulder. I can make my collar grip a little bit higher if he was like pushing this down and it's like not feeling as good. I can adjust myself more around the corner while he's recovering, okay? The second off balance is gonna be dropping my foot to the floor, pushing off of the ground, and then using my hand in the collar right here to push him in this direction. And also my toes are pushing in his hip like this. So if we rotate, I'll show you what that looks like real quick. Just like that. It's this. It's this. See, I push on the ground, I lift my hips, I drive in this direction, and then the one you'll feel the most is as I wrap my De La Riva around, my toes are pointing like right here, and you'll feel your toes push his hip like this, okay? So look at my De La Riva. I make that nice angle, so I'm looking at the side of him. As it wraps around, my toes are kind of pointing into his hip, and that's like what I push him back with, okay? So that's the backwards off balance. It's here, boom, okay? And this sets up a whole host of attacks as well, and they'll feel the attack, so they'll correct their balance again. They'll start to come back really hard, and then you start to rock again to the front. It's that front, back, kind of like synergistic off balance that we're looking for, so that we don't play a guard and just like use all of our strength for like, you know, a minute and then our grips are burned. You got to keep them busy, keeping their balance so they don't have the tools to start breaking the position, okay? So what I want you guys to do now is set up your De La Riva. See, I have my elbow locked. I'm creating the rotation in his shoulders. And now I'm going to stretch his base, sit up off of my back, and then rock him. See, I pull on the collar, I rock to my right hip, and I pull his De La Riva off of the floor and I attach it to my thigh like this, look. See, it's off the ground. It's kind of sitting on me like that, here. And then the second one, you're gonna drop your foot to the floor. You're gonna, I kind of can close my elbow under me. This is gonna make it a little bit easier. I push off the ground. I use my hand in the collar like this, my toes in his hip, boom, like that. And now I can start to set up my De La Riva again, okay? You guys have any questions? Okay, yes, one question.
What is the advantage when you use like your elbow close at this stage or when you open your elbow? What is the best option? What do you like to use?
That's a good question. So he's asking, right here, my elbow, you can see my elbow's really open right here. And then I'll sometimes close it under my body like this. Okay, so when I think about this elbow being open, I think about the vulnerability of him putting his hand inside of here and using that as an underhook if he were to pass to this side. So I'll keep my elbow open if I'm blocking his path to this side, meaning I have my foot on his shoulder, or I have my leg past his hip, or maybe I'm kicking and rocking. But if he were to stuff this, then I would have to hide my elbow like that right away. In the case of this sweep, I think when I have my elbow out, it stops me from bridging in this direction off of my foot. It's like I'm supporting myself. So I feel like I have to do this so that I can get on my shoulder and get like a good kick, you know?
Thank you.
Okay, let's try this. 1, 2, 3.